Okay, so the next thing we have now is finding the midpoint between 2 points. So this is pretty intuitive. So the midpoint between 2 points, let's just read this question here. The library is at the midpoint between the home and the shop. So we're trying to get the midpoint of the home and shop. The home is here, the shop is here. So if you were to guess where halfway between these 2 points are, you'd say roughly, something like this. This would be the halfway point between the home and the shop. That would be the midpoint. Okay? But we have a formula for it, and essentially what we do is we just get the average of the x values and we get the average of the y values. Okay? So, again, if we're trying to get the midpoint between 2 points, we just need the coordinates of the 2 points. We're trying to get the midpoint between. We call one of them x1, y1, call the other one x2, y2, and we substitute it into the formula in our log tables. And note here now, midpoint, it is not units or whatever, it is a new point. We are getting a new coordinate point when we do it. So, what are the coordinates of the shop? Minus 3, 1. Yeah. On the ball. So minus 3 across horizontally, 1 up vertically, so minus 3, 1. What about the home? 4, 2. So the home, we're across 4, we're up 2, so that's going to be 4, 2. And in the school, what's that going to be? 4, 5. Yeah? So across 4, up 5. So 4, 5. Now, the library is at the midpoint between the home and shop. So there's some new point in between the shop and the home. That is the library. Write down the coordinates of the library. So get the midpoint, essentially, of these two things. So our midpoint formula, which again is in our log tables. So if we go to our log tables, it's the next formula. I'm actually going one by one at the moment. So we've done slope, done distance. We're now doing the midpoint. It's in our log tables. And essentially what we do is we get a new coordinate point. Okay? And the x thing is just going to become the average of the x's. So x1 plus x2 divided by 2. What type of average is that? When we add them up and then divide by how many there are. Very quick, on the ball. Exactly, it's the mean. So we have a few different averages, so that's just testing our statistics. That is the mean. So we get the mean of the x values, and we also get the mean of the y value. So y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So that's our midpoint formula. Now what are we trying to get the midpoint of? The home and the shop. So the home and the shop, let me just highlight them so I don't confuse. These are our 2 points we're trying to get the midpoint between. So all we do is call one of them x1, y1, and then we do x2, y2. We sub it all into the formula. So it's going to become what? x1 is minus 3 plus x2. x2 is 4. And then we do x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Then we have y1. y1 is 1 plus y2. y2 is 2 all over 2. What is this going to become? Minus 3 plus 4. What's it going to become in the numerator? The 2 is going to stay the same. Minus 3 plus 4. The thing with addition is we can do it either way. So as opposed to doing like minus 3 and then adding on 4 to it, what I like to do is take the positive thing, 4, and then subtract 3. It's just easier in my head. So 4 minus 3 would give me 1. Because it doesn't matter which way we add things. For example, 2 plus 5 is 5 plus 2. So that's just something to note there. What is this going to become? It's going to become 1 plus 2 on top, which is 3 over 2. So the midpoint, which they've called the library, so the library is this point, a half, 3 over 2. So let's think about that in terms of decimals. A half is 0.5 and 3 halves is 1.5. So where would this coordinate point be? So the library is a half, 1.5. So we'd go a half across horizontally. Sorry now, what's going on? So we go half across horizontally, so that's halfway between 0 and 1, so it's going to be here. And then we go 1.5 up, so this is 1 up, this is 1.5 up, and this is our midpoint. Now we don't have to plot it, but intuitively, that is a good estimate for where the midpoint is going to be between those 2 points, the shop and the home. Okay, so what we've essentially done is we take this x value minus 3, take this x value 4, and then we do 4 minus 3, or we add them up. Okay, 4 minus 3 is 1, and then we divide it by 2 to get the average. So we come halfway between them horizontally, which is going to be here, and then we go halfway between them vertically. So this is 1 vertically, this is 2 vertically, so we're going to become 1.5 vertically. So that's how we get the midpoint.